let's talk about our weather. We're actually going to start cooling down, but the winds are picking up, so there's still fire danger out there.
Exactly. And, you know, just as we had forecasted, we saw the heat today. Now, as far as our official daytime highs, and if we manage to beat any daily record highs, we're waiting for the official numbers to come in. I think I may have that at 5:30, but I can tell you it's still very warm. But showcasing our microclimates gives you an idea of who's feeling the heat and who's not really feeling the heat. Typical spots that are much cooler: San Francisco at 66. However, if you look at the wind speeds from the west-northwest, very gusty already at about 25 miles per hour. Meanwhile, comparison, look at San Jose, about 80 degrees, and then we bump up by as much as 15 degrees to one of our warmest spots, that being Walnut Creek at 94 degrees. So as we inch into tonight, things will cool off, but even then, I mean, look, at this hour in Livermore, still running about 9 degrees warmer just compared to the past 24 hours. As that bridge of high pressure began to build, we're now going to change weather patterns, and we're going to get the influence of some cooler air settling in, but also gusty onshore winds. Now, satellite verifies exactly what we're seeing on our live cameras, and that's those clear skies. If you're going to be out about in San Francisco, the wind speeds will be sticking around, getting gusty through tonight into tomorrow and Friday. Those temperatures will drop off into the 50s, and if you look, the skies will remain mostly clear in Walnut Creek. When do you get relief? Well, we're still at about 94, but eventually dropping off by 7 o'clock into those 80s, and then we'll get some cooling into the 70s and 60s with those clear conditions. But here's where the big changes start to happen wind-wise, which is what we're concerned for inching ahead into Thursday and Friday. Already seeing some gusty winds for some parts of the North Bay mountain areas, and then as we get more wind and cooling, we've also got low humidity in inland areas. And keep in mind those three factors that we always mention. Aside from just the temperatures, we've also got to keep a close eye on the winds and the humidity. And by tomorrow afternoon, this is looking at about 5 p.m., look at what we start to see up in the North Bay mountains. Those gusty winds get stronger, especially for some of those higher elevation areas above 1,000 to 2,000 feet for the North Bay, the East Bay, but also the interior valleys and around the coastline. And that is where we tend to also see the lowest humidity. We're talking about the interior spots right here where these gusty winds begin to pick up, and that also verifies on our models. If you look around San Francisco, even in through parts of the coastline and Oakland, those percentages stay well above that 70 to 80. We tend to see a beautiful recovery overnight, but as we look ahead to about 4 p.m., when the sun really starts to warm us up, even though we're going to be cooler, those humidity levels start to dip down into those 30s for areas like Concord and Fairfield and Santa Rosa at 23%. We like to keep this number above 30% ideally when we think about those grasses, the moisture levels. Consider that. Now, as we inch into tomorrow morning, patchy clouds mainly around the coast. We're going to be clear. Sunrise is going to be beautiful, mostly sunny. The winds start to pick up by noon. We're still going to manage to warm up into some 70s and 80s, but nowhere near the heat that we saw today. We're going to manage to be a bit more comfortable. In the long range outlook right now, the pattern shows dry conditions remaining in through Thursday and Friday. But then as we look ahead into Saturday, there is a possibility of a late season storm. Right now, the model runs are showing, you can see the green just to our north there. That system staying a bit more to the north, but we're going to keep a close eye on it in case it decides to dip down into parts of Far, Ukiah, possibly Mendocino County. The 7-day forecast is breezy through Friday, and then the temperatures start to slide into a more seasonable pattern, inching into the weekend. And Friday is the official start of summer at 7:42 p.m. So be careful. 87% of fires, according to Climate Central, are started by people. We don't want any of that.
I love how you and the other meteorologists know exactly the time that the summer is going to start. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Vianey.